Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EPC, English Podcast Channel. I'm Kevin, the guy who talks way too much, but means well.
And I'm Emily, here to make sure Kevin doesn't go off the rails again.
Okay, fair enough. But today, we've got a very important episode, something that hits home for a lot of English learners.
Yep, if you're someone who can understand English movies, songs, podcasts, even this one, but when it's your turn to speak, your brain just shuts down.
Like someone pulled the plug. You're there, you know the words, but suddenly your mouth says, nope, not today.
That's what we're talking about today. Why do so many people understand English but struggle to speak it?
It's like watching football versus playing football. Watching, you get it. You know what a good pass looks like. You cheer when someone scores.
But once you're on the field, it's different. The ball's coming at you, your legs don't move, and boom, you're on the ground.
Speaking English is the same. Listening is passive. You can do it while eating snacks or folding laundry.
But speaking, that's active. You've got to think, remember words, pronounce them, and do it all while staying confident.
Exactly. So today, we're going to explore why this happens and, more importantly, how to fix it.
We'll give you 5 practical tips to go from frozen to fluent. And trust me, the last one might be the most important of all.
So stick around, hit that follow button, and let's get into it. Ready, Emily?
Ready, Kevin? Let's help people find their English voice.
So, Kevin, let's dig a little deeper into why understanding English is so much easier than speaking it.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, right? You're listening to your favorite show and you're like, oh, I totally get what they're saying.
But then your friend says, hey, tell me about it. And suddenly, your brain turns into mashed potatoes.
Right? It's like you have all the words stored in your brain, but they're locked behind some invisible door.
That's because listening is a passive skill. Your brain just receives the information. It doesn't need to do anything active with it.
Yeah, you can listen to English while walking, cooking, scrolling through your phone.
But speaking is active. You gotta dig into your memory, find the right words, say them clearly, and follow the conversation.
And oh yeah, do it all while staying calm and confident.
Imagine this. You watch cooking shows all the time. You know when to flip the steak, when to add the garlic.
But then someone hands you a pan and says, okay, now you cook. Suddenly you're holding the garlic like, is this even food?
Listening is watching the show. Speaking is being in the kitchen, doing it yourself.
And here's the deal. If you never actually step into the kitchen, you'll never learn to cook.
Exactly. Many learners think understanding is enough, but speaking is a skill you build through action and repetition.
And the good news, you can train for it, just like a muscle.
That's what the rest of this episode is about.
We're going to show you how to train your English speaking muscles so you don't freeze, fumble, or feel frustrated.
Tip number 1 coming up in the next part. Don't go anywhere.
All right, let's jump into our first tip, and it's a big one.
Yep. If you only remember one thing from today's episode, let it be this. Stop translating in your head.
That habit is like putting bricks on your brain every time you speak.
Seriously, when you try to translate from your native language into English word by word, it slows you down.
And the sentence usually ends up sounding weird or robotic, like, I am go store now.
Exactly. Your mind gets stuck thinking, how do I say this? Wait, what's the word for?
Meanwhile, the conversation is moving on without you.
So what's the solution? Think in English, even for small things.
You don't need to start with fancy stuff like the geopolitical effects of climate change.
Just look around you and describe what you see. I see my phone. I'm drinking tea. My dog is sleeping.
I do this in the shower sometimes, out loud. I'm washing my hair. I feel sleepy. I hope I didn't forget my towel.
That's personal, but a good example. The goal is to build comfort with everyday English.
And when that gets easy, try thinking about your plans. Today, I'll study. Later, I'll meet a friend.
Exactly. Turn your thoughts into simple English sentences. Do it in your head, or whisper it if you're shy.
Also, change your phone to English. Add English songs to your playlist. Follow English creators.
That's called immersion. When your brain is surrounded by English, it starts to think in English naturally.
And this isn't just a fun trick. It's backed by science.
A study from the University of Essex found that students who thought in English improved their fluency faster and felt more confident, even if their grammar wasn't perfect.
Confidence greater than perfection. Every single time.
And that's the mindset we're building here.
Ready for tip number 2? It's one of my favorites. Stay tuned.
All right, tip number 2 is fun and powerful. It's called shadowing.
Sounds mysterious, right? Like we're going to sneak behind someone in a hoodie.
Not quite. Shadowing is a language learning technique where you listen to someone speak and repeat exactly what they say right after them.
Think of it like being their echo, but cooler.
The goal is to copy their tone, pronunciation, rhythm, and pace.
Basically, you're training your mouth to move like a native speaker.
Let's try a simple example. Kevin, say a line.
Sure. I'd like a coffee, please.
Now, listeners, repeat that with us. I'd like a coffee, please.
Nice. Let's try a longer one. I'd like a coffee, please. No sugar. Thanks a lot.
Now, say it smoothly, like one sentence, not 5 words. That's the magic of shadowing.
This works best with real English, from podcasts, YouTube videos, movie scenes, even this podcast.
I used to shadow my favorite characters in sitcoms. For a while, I actually sounded like Rachel from Friends.
I did that with Chandler Bing. I was sarcastic for a full year.
That explains so much.
Anyway, the point is, don't just listen passively. Press play, pause, repeat out loud.
Don't worry about understanding everything. Focus on the sound and flow.
It's like karaoke for your mouth.
And studies support this too. The University of Tokyo found that learners who practiced shadowing improved both their speaking fluency and listening accuracy.
Double win.
And you don't need to memorize full dialogues. Just grab one line, copy it, feel how it sounds.
After a while, your pronunciation gets sharper, your brain reacts faster, and you start sounding more natural.
You're not just learning the language, you're absorbing the feeling of how it's spoken.
And all of that makes it easier to speak when it's your turn.
All right, next up is a tip that sounds scary at first, but it's a game changer.
Yep, it helped me the most. Tip number 3, coming right up.
Okay, this one might feel a little weird at first, but trust us, it works like magic.
Tip number 3 is record yourself speaking English.
Yep, just open your phone's voice recorder and talk. Simple as that.
It can be anything, what you did today, how you're feeling, or even random thoughts.
For example, today I woke up late, I made noodles, then I watched too many dog videos on YouTube.
Then hit play and be prepared, because hearing your own voice, it's weird at first.
Very weird. The first time I did it, I sounded like a confused robot. I was like, wait, do I really sound like that?
But here's the thing. You learn so much from listening to yourself.
You'll notice if you speak too slowly, repeat the same words, or mispronounce things.
You might realize your th sounds like S or your r needs work. All those small things add up.
And it's not about being perfect. It's about noticing your habits.
Research from Cambridge University actually shows that self-recording improves fluency and confidence. Why? Because it helps you coach yourself.
No one knows your voice better than you do.
Try this. Every night, record a 1-minute English diary. Say what you did that day. No need for fancy words.
Example, I met my friend, we had lunch, we talked about school, I felt happy.
The next day, listen to it. Then record again. Over time, you'll hear progress.
And here's a bonus. When you start speaking out loud, you break the habit of staying silent.
Silence kills fluency, but the moment you speak, Even to yourself, you activate your speaking muscles.
After a week of voice diaries, you'll feel more confident. After a month, you'll sound better, smoother, and stronger.
You don't need a fancy microphone or studio. Your phone and your voice are enough.
And someday, you'll play back an old recording and say, "Whoa, I've come so far."
Exactly. So start today, even if you mess up, especially if you mess up. That's how growth begins.
Coming up next, tip number 4. It's all about smart shortcuts in conversation.
All right, tip number 4 is one of the smartest shortcuts for speaking English more fluently.
It's simple, but super effective. Practice useful, everyday phrases.
See, a lot of learners think they need to create new sentences every time they speak.
But fluent speakers actually rely on common chunks of language, phrases that just roll off the tongue.
Like, I'm good, thanks. Or, how was your day?
Or, my favorite, can I get a coffee, please?
These aren't just polite, they're your building blocks. When you use them often, they become automatic.
It's like muscle memory. You don't have to think hard. You just say it.
Think of it like driving. At first, you overthink every move. Check mirrors, signal, change lanes slowly.
But later, it's smooth. Your body just knows.
Same thing with English. These phrases become your tools for conversation.
Want examples? Try these. I'm not sure. That's interesting. I don't think so. Let me check.
These phrases are flexible. You can use them in tons of situations.
And when someone asks, what do? You can say, I work as a designer, or I'm a student.
You don't need to write an essay. Just respond naturally.
Say them out loud every day. Use a mirror, talk to your cat, or pretend you're ordering food at a cafe.
Or talk to Kevin. He'll always respond, especially if you mention snacks.
Absolutely. Can I get a donut, please? See? Natural.
The more you practice these chunks, the less you freeze during real conversations.
Because you've already said these phrases 100 times before.
And guess what? You don't need perfect grammar if your phrases sound natural.
That's the secret. Sound real, not robotic.
So grab a notebook or an app and start building your phrase collection.
These aren't just words. They're your go-to moves in the English conversation game.
All right, we're almost at the end, and we've saved the most important tip for last.
Coming up next, tip number 5 is not about grammar or vocabulary.
It's about something even more powerful, your mindset.
All right, folks, we've reached the final tip. And honestly, this one is everything.
Tip number 5 is simple but deep. Change your mindset.
You can try every speaking trick out there, but if your mind is full of fear, doubt, or perfectionism, you'll stay stuck.
Think about it. Every fluent English speaker you admire, they've made hundreds, maybe thousands of embarrassing mistakes.
I once said, I am chicken instead of I'm scared. On a date.
Did you get a second date?
Nope. But hey, I got a story and better English.
Exactly. Mistakes are how you grow. The more you speak, the less scary it feels.
The key is to speak now, not wait until you feel ready.
Ready is a trap and never comes. But when you take action, the fear gets smaller.
Here's something you can say to yourself every day. It's okay to speak badly. That's how I learn.
Say it again with us. It's okay to speak badly. That's how I learn.
Good job. That mindset is how confidence is built.
You're not just an English learner. You're a communicator, a speaker, a person with something to say.
Don't wait to be perfect. Be brave. Speak with messy grammar, funny pronunciation, and shaky confidence.
Because every word you say is one step forward.
Every awkward sentence is proof that your English voice is alive and growing.
So step up. Speak out. You're not alone. We're here cheering for you.
Now, before we end, let's do a quick review of some cool phrases from this episode. Ready, Emily?
Let's go. Brain. Phrases of the day. Fall flat on your face. To completely fail. Example, I tried to impress the teacher but fell flat on my face.
Stay on track. Keep going in the right direction. Example,
Even when it's tough, just stay on track.
Backed by science, supported by research. Example, thinking in English is backed by science.
Get the hang of it. Start to understand how to do something. Example, after a few tries, I got the hang of it.
Muscle memory, when your body remembers something through repetition. Example, after practicing, those phrases became muscle memory.
Cue the musical fill.
Now, you try.
Why is translating in your head a problem?
Because it slows you down and makes you less confident.
Exactly. One more. What does self-recording help you notice?
Your habits, pronunciation, and mistakes. It makes you your own coach.
And that's a wrap for today's episode.
You understand English, but now you're learning to speak it.
With these 5 tips and the right mindset, your English will only get stronger.
Keep going, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself.
Thanks for listening to EPC. Until next time, stay confident, stay curious,
And keep speaking. Bye for now.